Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hyperconscious Podcast. Alan, what is hyperconscious?
Once you understand why something is the way that it is, now you have the power to change it. Great conversations with great people and great questions are the keys to the kingdom of unlocking your consciousness.
Every single action that you do starts as a thought. When you control the way you think, you will control the way you act, and you will control the way you live. That is hyperconscious. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hyperconscious Podcast is proudly sponsored by our friend and mentor, David Meltzer of the Playbook Podcast. He was kind enough to join us on episode 144 and 135.
Folks, it has become Kevin and I's mission in life to help you realize that the life of your dreams is right on the other side of you becoming the greatest version of yourself. Let us help you do that.
I rarely do these things twice in such a short amount of time, but you guys impress me. I believe in people that provide value and of our service. You two guys are on your way to huge fulfillment, purpose, and profitability, and I look forward to helping you both.
We appreciate that more than you know. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another very special, as always, episode of the Hyperconscious Podcast. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode where Alan and I were lucky enough to sit down with Jesse LeBeau. Today, we are going to do a 5-minute clinic on confidence.
Folks, so I'm going to kickstart this episode off right, but first I want you to go to hyperconsciouspodcast.com and click on join #HyperconsciousNation. That's our private Facebook group. We engage with that every day. We're actually about to go live after this.
Yes.
And people are masterminding in that. We are building a community of dream chasers. Please join us over there. Okay, so to jumpstart this episode, Kevin, you just gave a speech last Thursday.
I did.
On cultivating confidence.
Yes, I did. That was me.
The full speech is available to everyone in the Hyperconscious Nation, by the way. But you gave 5 steps to everyone in that room, and I have them here. Number 1 is get around confident people. Number 2 is get familiar. Number 3 is everyone sucks at first.
True.
My favorite one. Number 4, start small. And then number 5 is fear chase. Can you please go into each one briefly and use a practical example to where our listeners can go build confidence?
So I think the one I always say was of most importance for me was get around confident people. The analogy I like to use is if you had somebody who had your results and they were very confident. So say you want to be a millionaire and you have a millionaire who believes in you. How can you not believe in yourself?
Right.
You by default, if they believe in you and they have the results you want, then you can believe in yourself. So when it comes to getting around confident people, I would say that is the most important. What was 2? Get familiar?
Yep.
Get familiar.
Clark Kent versus Superman.
Right. So I remember telling Alan one day that I feel like Superman in the gym, but I feel like Clark Kent in real life. Why? Because I am so familiar with the gym. I am very competent there. That is where I was the most competent. I had spent more than 10,000 hours there by this point, and that's why I was confident there. I truly think confidence and competence go hand in hand, and the more competent you are at something, the more confidence you will have because of it. So get familiar with whatever it is you're trying to do. If you want to be a podcaster, listen to more podcasts and understand the flow of conversation, understand the questions. Get a little bit more familiar. Like get rid of some uncertainty. Don't dive all the way in because we'll talk about that later because paralysis by analysis. But yes, get familiar with what it is you want and your fears.
At the speech, Kevin gave an example. The people that you're sitting next to at this event, you're familiar with if you know them. So you're more comfortable and confident around them. Why? Because it's familiar, so there's less uncertainty.
Yes.
So get more familiar. Okay, number 3 was everyone sucks at first. This is my favorite one.
Yeah, so the first time, think of it, if you're watching this or listening to this, think of the first time that you got behind the wheel of a vehicle. How hard was it for you to turn on your blinker while hitting the brakes while taking a left turn? It was almost impossible.
I failed my test, man.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I passed. I parallel parked.
Well, everyone sucks at first.
Everyone doesn't suck at first. So think of how many things that you do on an everyday basis that you were probably terrible at to begin with. The problem, like, what happens is people are naturally bad at things, but the stuff that you have to get good at, you push through.
Right. If you throw a Frisbee for the first time, and it goes in the woods, you don't suck at Frisbee. You just never have thrown Frisbee.
Right. And now you don't have a reason to learn, so you think you suck at Frisbee.
Right.
I think so. Everybody sucks at first. You suck you would like we sucked at podcasting. Go back and listen to the first episode. It was terrible.
Oh, God.
And now I like to think that we're very good at podcasting. We have a long ways to go, but everybody sucks at first. You just have to find the why power to push through that suck.
Mastery is a process. Okay, number 4, start small. Love this one.
Yeah, so I use the analogy that Matt and I bought a light fixture to put on the front of the house, and we waited so long to put it on because we were building up the story in our head of how hard it would be, when literally we could have started small by going outside and just looking at the other one, or maybe taking the other one off, or Googling it, or I think, again, going back to paralysis by analysis, if you have to know the answer to everything, you're never going to start.
Fact.
So you have to start in order to get results, and then you can change different things. You can try new things, but without results, it doesn't matter. So don't look at the top of the mountain and say I'll never get there. Start by walking, one step, another step, and then you'll learn as you go.
The analogy I use real quick is, don't wake up in the morning and look up the 10,000 stairs. You're going to be overwhelmed, and then instead of starting, you're going to do nothing. You need to know on your vision board what the 10,000 stairs are, but then after that, only focus on that next domino.
Yeah.
Next
Love
step. Number 5, fear chase. Your favorite one.
Fear chase. Yeah, fear chase is probably my favorite one. Guys, giving this speech was a fear-chasing moment for me. I was terrified to do it. But again, I always say leverage your why power. If your loved one was in a burning building, you would be far more likely to run in that burning building than you would if it was a $20 bill. You have to have the why power that's going to push you to do things out of your comfort zone. If you want to become the most confident, capable version of yourself, attach something greater than yourself. I don't always do it because I want to. I do it because I have to. I have to be the most confident version of me in order to accomplish my goals and continue to help and do the podcast and do the one-on-one coaching and do the speeches and
have people relying on you too. Like if you fail, then you let me down.
Right.
If I failed that speech, I would let you down.
Right. And that's another but that's another hack too about one of the things about getting around confident people is if you're the most confident person in that situation. So I use the Amy story.
Right.
When Amy and I, for those who don't know, Amy is a listener. She reached out to me. She wanted to get over her fear of approaching people in public. So we went to the mall and we did some fear chasing. And I wanted to cancel that event because I was afraid. But
I remember that day, yeah.
Yeah, but I had to be the most confident person in the room, and that proved to myself that, oh wow, you're more confident than you have been proving. You just needed a reason why. Well, that other person relying on you is a heavy reason why.
That's leadership.
Well, yeah, some would say.
Okay, so you said, so the timer just went off for everyone. I know it's 5-minute clinic. Here we go.
Right.
In Kevin's PowerPoint, it said the following quote, which I loved. Confidence is the bridge between thoughts and action. So you say, hyperconsciousness is if you change the way you think, you will change the way you act, and therefore you will change the way you live.
Yes.
That is hyperconscious. So confidence is the key. Can you please briefly talk about the confidence conundrum and where to inject confidence to make sure that people follow through?
So I think we talked a little bit about this when we sat down with Michael Gorman.
Yep.
I believe. But okay, so there's this space between the lack of certainty. So there's a space between uncertainty and taking action. Everybody has uncertainty when they think about something new. If you've never done it before, you're uncertain of the results. It's natural. But there's the thing that you're missing, the bridge between between thoughts and actions is confidence. So you put confidence between your uncertainty and your lack of action, and then you take action. And when you take action, you will get results. And when you get results, then that's when you can start working on those results. Maybe it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but you got feedback of what not to do. Maybe you got feedback of what to do again. You'll never know if you don't get feedback. You'll always assume like, oh, I'm not confident enough to do it, or I could never do that. That's not me. I'm not good at that. But if you never take action, you'll never have feedback, and you'll never be able to adjust accordingly.
One of the things you said, this will be the last thing I say, is this. I can tell you for sure that if you don't at least try, you have a 0% chance of accomplishing your goal. I think that's absolute fire. So that's the 10-second blip that I would leave the listeners with is everything is figure-outable.
Brendan
Burchard says that. You say everything is learnable. You can learn.
Yeah.
So instead of saying I can't do this, say I can learn this. Or no, you said I don't know how to do this.
So there's
replace that with I can learn this.
Yeah. I think you don't know what you don't know. Don't focus so much on I don't know this. Focus more on I can learn this.
Absolute fire. 10-second blip for the listeners. Confidence.
What were we talking about before?
The confidence conundrum.
No, what was the other thing?
The 5 things?
No, you said you should.
Oh, you have a 0%
right.
chance if
Yeah.
you don't try.
So-
go ahead.
I cannot tell you what the chances of you succeeding at any endeavor are. I have no idea, but I can guarantee you that the chances of you accomplishing anything are 0% unless you try. You have to try, and if you lack confidence, those are the 5 ways to get it. Those are the 5 things that turned me into the person I am today. I was not this person 2 years ago, and again, like I said at the speech, I wouldn't be on a podcast 2 years ago, never mind hosting one 4 times a week.
Right.
So if I can do it, anybody can do it, and confidence and creating and cultivating confidence is my new jam. So if you need help with it, reach out, because I love talking about it, because it's something that I lacked for a long, long time.
I am confident that this episode will help all of you.
My goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this. What do we want to do next for small talks?
We have to decide on the fly.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
What do you think?
It has been a minute. I don't know if you want to do this, but I'm just saying fitness. If we wanted to do fitness, we could do some fitness.
What would we do on fitness?
Well, we just talked about cultivating
That's
confidence,
true.
which was your speech.
That's true.
I mean, if we wanted to talk about the 5 pillars, I mean, we could. I mean, if we want to talk about my speech, we could. I mean,
Okay, let's do that. We'll do it on the 5 fundamental pillars of natural health and fitness.
sounds good.
But I don't know how I'm going to name it, but we'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this. If you're ready to up your fitness game, listen to us on the next episode. We will talk to you then.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for listening to another episode of the Hyper Conscious Podcast.
Going hyper-conscious will absolutely change your life, because if you understand why something is the way it is, now you have the power to change it. If you going hyper-conscious with us has changed your life in any way, please share this episode with one of your friends, because the more people that go hyper-conscious, the better this world's going to be for everybody.
And if you would kindly leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, that would help us make more people hyper conscious, and we would be greatly appreciative.
Thank you.
Bye.